all of our friends, our center is getting ready for the Congress. We are always ready. We're like an army unit. All the dishes are washed. All the towels are dried up. And everything is ready as it always is. But what's more important is that all the friends are getting ready with full force to the Congress. We see that the Congress is already approaching. We're trying to finish everything we have to finish to clear up our desks, at home, in the family. Necessity, overcome all the difficulties. It's not easy to the friends. It's very, very hot here. It's 40 degrees centigrade. It's like 100 in Fahrenheit. It's very hard to drive around. You have to use the air conditioning. I drove and saw a friend totally preoccupied with concerns. Friends are doing everything they can and should in order to come to a state of we will do and we will hear. When I saw the friend, I saw the heaviness he was in, which he won't bring to the center. And that heaviness left a big impression on me. I saw what my eyes saw. Anyone who falls in his own defect.
Из-падения человек выходит только своими собственными силами, и каждый товарищ...
Out of it, person comes out by his own forces, by his own strength, and every friend is engaged in this.
Мы хотим сказать, что идет подготовка к Конгрессу.
Okay, so we want to say that there is an inner and outer preparation for the Congress. Everyone has a great desire, great yearning. And we're hoping that each of us will choose the spiritual life, and that the decision will be toward the directions important to all of us, the friends, the group, and the Creator. Now I'm going to pass on the mic to Petach Tikva.
Now we understand why Rabbi Akiva said about the verse, "Love thy friend as thyself," that it is the great rule of the Torah. It is because the important thing is to be rewarded with adhesion, with dvekut, with the Creator, which is called a vessel of bestowal, meaning equivalence of form. This is why the remedy of Torah and mitzvot was given, so that through it we'll be able to exit self-love and reach love of others. As stage one is the love between a person and his friend, and then we can achieve the love of the Creator. Question for active workshop. How do we bring all the tens together into one ten? Again. How do we bring all the tens together into one ten?
How do we bring all the tens into one ten? My impression is that this is the question that's been on our table for the last few days. For most of the friends, if not all the friends, how do we merge? How do we bring everyone into 110? This change we did in the tens, is it successful? Is it not? It's not clear how to touch this new state. I hope the light will connect us and will give us the understanding how to move forward.
Yes, I think that the essence of the question is that's the main thing here, because we need to develop a lack. How to connect? We connect by searching, looking for how to connect and desiring it. We don't know how to connect anything. What we do know is how to evoke the importance of this connection, and that's our work.
If we are directed correctly, there shouldn't be a difference between sitting with 9 other friends in a table which are my 10, or between anyone on the spiritual path being in my 10, and in the most advanced state, the whole world being in my 10. It's a spiritual degree, the first degree. And this is how we have to look at it. And we'll attain it and feel that the bodies don't separate us.
Yes, there was the beginning of such a sensation when we changed the tents. So maybe we should mingle together more in various events. And it's urgent. Then maybe this feeling of the 10 will become more general.
Right. Well, first of all, we have to be grateful for the situation where we're dealing with things we don't know, and it's uncomfortable. We don't exactly know what to do. It means we're dealing with something new, beyond the known and the reason. And I also want to say it's something very special. Rav is attributing importance to it, and we're dealing with something that no one's dealt with ever. It's really a new state in humanity, in the Kli, and we have to be very grateful for it. How do we do it?
Friends, let's share 1 minute of prayer.
קבל השם חזק ויאמץ ליבך ויאמץ ליבך קבל השם חזק ויאמץ ליבך חזק ויאמץ
שלום חברים, אנו מזכירים כי לא משתמשים בטלפון.
Hello friends, we're reminding you we're not using phones during the lesson except those on duty who receive personal permission. Anyone asking a question should stand up, hold the microphone close to his mouth and speak loudly and clearly. In the first part of the lesson, we'll do a preparation for the Tish on the topic of uniting into one. Then we'll continue with silent preparation for the lesson. Concerning the phones, please let's make sure they are on mute and we don't have any kind of sound or disturbance. Hello. On our lesson today, we'll have a preparation for the meeting of friends on the topic of uniting into 110. You're invited to go into our site, kab.tv, and send questions. Selected questions on the relevant topics will be asked here.
This topic, uniting into 110, is a very important one. Why? Because we learn that the final act should always be in the initial thought. Everything is clarified through thought. Everything is premeditated. And therefore, the end of correction, that final form, has to exist to begin with. And then all of the states that we want to go through will serve as preparation, steps we take towards that final form. And for that, we're now establishing this path, laying it out for us. And so to depict ourselves, the whole world, all of the created beings, all the souls, to see them as 110, as one Havaya, that's our duty. And if we're, as of yet, incapable of holding this within our wills, our intentions, within the 10, or each one individually, we need to see that we're actually retarded in that, we're way behind, and we need to make an effort, because if not, it may be that our efforts aren't properly directed, because as the children of Israel, the Torah and the Creator are one, then the vessel has to be one, including all of creation with the Creator, and they have to be unified. Therefore, the final form, which is 110, which alone occupies all of reality, all of the worlds, and within it the Creator is revealed, delighting in the work of the lower ones. That is the form which we need with the initial thought to envision before every action. For a long time, we were in our set tents for 2 years, almost 3. We were in those tents. I'm fearful of remaining in that. The times demand change. When we become accustomed to this, we enter states which don't cost us in exertion. We don't feel resistance, collision, struggle, and therefore there are no scrutinies and discernments, and there's nothing for it. That's our nature, our inner nature and our external nature, the internal and external system. And therefore, here we have to somehow mingle the tents together, shuffle them together. Perhaps there is a nicer word, shuffle. That's on one hand. And on the other, as we just said, the final outcome is in the initial thought. We need to see all of Bnei Baruch as 110. Yes, the whole world and the Creator and everything. Israel, the Torah, and the Creator. It needs to be like in letter 7 by Baal Sulam, right? And this is how a person needs to orient himself initially. Otherwise, all of his steps will not follow the straight line, and he'll be led astray. There's even a little diagram there. So there's no alternative. That's what we have to do. Now, the question is, how responsible do we feel for it, and to what extent do we understand it, and are obligated, each one towards his friend and to himself, to depict Israel Oraita Kudshabrichu Israel, the Torah, and the Creator as the path, the system, the steps to be taken forward, and that there's no choice in it. It'll be difficult, there'll be confusions, but we're going to open this straight path towards the final state. It's as it is drawn in that diagram. Then we enter the Israel Oraita Kucha Brichu Chadhu. They're all one. And so we need to discuss it, we need to work on it, and ahead of us there is the Congress in Europe, which also deals with exactly that question. And we want to begin it. This topic, well, it's not about the tish, that all of a sudden we stitch to it as if it's some Hasidic custom. But all of those customs of the Hasidut are according to the wisdom of Kabbalah originally. And so we have to see how exactly to conduct these actions, how to carry them out, so that it's truly done seriously and can be as a study, or it can be about our intentions. And perhaps we'll go over that letter 7 again, and other such texts which speak of the final outcome in the initial thought, and the final 10 where we need to integrate and to include the whole world in that, in our work. That's the goal, and that's the goal that is near to us, and also our next step, and also the end goal. So we'll make an effort to do this. And to tell you that I don't have any experience in this, of course I don't. And I never hide my lack of experience, because that's how it is. We're trying to find, possibly, perhaps, by mistake, even by trial and error, to the extent we can understand or not, the path, how to orient ourselves correctly on the true path. And let's hope that we'll make the fewest possible errors and mistakes. And this is possible only if we go with faith above reason and try to connect Israel Oraita Kucha Brichu Chadhu. So what do I want to say by that? It's not a local tish that we're going to hold just this once, but it is actually an assignment for the whole of our world Kli. We want to begin to see ourselves, to depict ourselves as the 10 Sfirot Derosh of the Partzuf of the general soul, of the general neshama. Yes, and don't be shy about it. That's what we want to do. We want to be like that. Let's hope that we'll succeed. And more will come and join. And so we will advance. There are people who nevertheless are very fearful of being parted from their previous set tens, where throughout these 3 years they had this framework and it supported them and held them, guarded them, and now in the new tents they haven't found themselves as of yet. Do you think we should remain in the new tents until they're established? But it'll be the same state as in the previous tents, so what's going to change, really? That's why I don't think we should let people grow accustomed to really enter these new tents, which will serve as some kind of nest, where they're safeguarded, concealed, like a hothouse or a shelter, somewhere safe and enclosed. What's safe and enclosed has to be entirely open, because it's all within the power of the Creator, which does everything, surrounds everything, and fills everything. We need to break through these, through the insecurity, instability. With faith above reason, there's no problem at all. But within reason, within the ego, we're always looking for some corner, some hidey hole, some protection. Protection is where I throw everything away and am integrated into the Creator, within the 10, of course. So I want to ask, what questions or doubts or problems do you think we have here in this path? Go ahead. Don't be shy. Immediately, whatever's in your heart. Say it. Go on. Yes, Shai. Sorry, I mean Niv.
I think once we did something like that, and the impression I was left with is that there's this dispersion. It's like kind of a free class at school. Yes, everyone's on break. No one has to pay attention to anyone. There's this feeling of loss of importance of the 10, and there's nothing new to hold on to. It's clear that something has to be there more internal, but it's not there. So you're in a state of detachment. Like there was something is supposed to replace it, but it doesn't.
Yes, and what should we do? Look, I learned in school. At first I had one teacher, like a kindergartner, a teacher. I see that Akoka is evoking memories, fond memories. All right, so all of a sudden, I got many different teachers. I think it started on the 5th grade, and then it became a little different. There's no connection with that teacher. I remember her name, I remember her image, and all those teachers that replaced her, I don't remember anything about them. But still, I have to show up. You get registered to see if you were there or not, if you're present. I don't remember exactly what grade. At university, nobody asks you anything. You come, you're present in the lecture by some professor, lecturer. You go out, you don't go out. The main thing is just pass the tests, and so on and so forth. Meaning, a person is allowed more and more freedom, and we see that that's how it is with babies until they go out to the wide world. Maybe at 18 or 20. These days, it can be 40, remaining at home. Right? Who agrees? Even returning back to parents' house, to mom. See, he never left. He was... Okay, so what do you do? We need to understand that progress by nature is such that a person becomes more free, self-determination, with self-determination. And the more responsibility you take upon yourself, the more you determine, the more you decide, the more effort there is. Your mother and your teacher, they don't guard you and keep you anymore. You know, the teacher immediately calls your mom, "Where's Niv? Why isn't he showing up to class?" And the mom is saying, "I don't know, he went to school. What happened?" And then it becomes clear he just played soccer all these hours. He went to morning shows. What is I mean, the movies. Is that what children do in the morning? When they run from school? All right. I see on your faces that you like this, all these memories. All right. What are we doing? How do we... But together, everyone, it's completely different. It's not hard. It's not difficult work. If it's together, there's no problem. So how do we, together, compel each other, instead of the teacher, instead of the mom, instead of but very meticulously, telling them we need to be in some framework, and the framework is not the little 10 you had before, where we were like in kindergarten or first grade. It's a more elaborate framework, and we need to add this force of guardianship, perhaps, to it. The concern that no one leaves the right path, nobody strays from the path. So how do we do that? So that we have... it's by the society. I don't trust my own will to receive at all. I come to you and tell you, guys, my desire is always to run away. Here, behind this corner, they're playing soccer, and for me to go there, that's my entire life. And here, it's like prison, so please keep me. And then I'm devoted to the society, I'm given over to the society and the influence of the society over the person. We've studied this. So what do we do? How do we do it? How do we stabilize each and every one? And we're not talking to them, telling each one, why are you going? Why are you leaving? You see how many people are missing here. Half the class. If you, if you omit those who came as guests for Friday, then half the people aren't here. Why? Lack of importance. And I would say not only lack of importance, they are traitors to you. That's how you need to see them. They're disrespecting the goal, the Creator and everything. If it's not crucial, God forbid, where they have to, with anguish, they leave. If it's not that, then it's just treachery or treason. I can't see it any other way. So the Kabbalists say, even though we're angry with them and don't agree with it, we are the ones at fault. We are at fault. We did not prepare such an atmosphere, we did not generate such an atmosphere which doesn't allow them to leave, like a magnetic field in the society, where even if they want, each one of us wants to break out, and each of us knows, like in our minds, we see it, and want to go, and no, and I want to, but no, and we have these things. So how do we generate such a field which will hold everyone and not allow anyone to exit? It's very simple, like it was with Pharaoh, where no one could leave Egypt. What's written there about it? Yes, it's written that no one could leave Egypt. The will to receive holds us like that. And we need to begin to do it in our special society, where it's not going to be the will to receive, the Pharaoh, which holds us, to gradually replace him. Moscow.
Good morning, World Kli. We also switched tens yesterday, and the friends are asking questions. In the previous fixed tens, it wasn't simple to maintain a covenant. In the new ones, when we don't have this consistency yet, how do we maintain the Elvut?
I can't tell you. Really, there are people who are closer to me in what? In that I can speak to them about various topics which I cannot discuss with other people. I can't, or I'm forbidden from doing it. And these things relate to this world. But with the students and regarding spirituality, it's not important for me with whom I sit. Completely unimportant. I don't understand what you're looking for in these. Why you're looking for these permanent friends, so to speak. There's force of habit. There's mutual understanding. But these are things which are part of this world. We need to transcend it. How do we really transcend above our will to receive, which is used to this and feels pleasant? And how do we do this? By the force of faith, where I have no dependency on, that I know his face, I'm used to him, I understand him. How do we do this? This needs to help us, all in all, to advance towards more spiritual discernments. So don't stick to these little states. It's a sign of katnut, of smallness. Let's grow. And there's no choice. The world also compels us. Look at what's happening, what's going on. So I carry you, I push you, but you need to do the work. And we'll try to do it together as much as possible. But it's also the work of each individual inside, meaning that at least within him he has doubts and insecurity, but outwardly he projects confidence to the others and supports them. And by that he also convinces himself. And yes, more questions?
You can really feel that now that we've changed tens, how the small tens separate us from each other, and how it is time to really merge into 110. I think if we change tens every week for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, we'll just remind each other that we are as one, and then we'll shift into 110. And concerning the importance of the morning lesson and coming to the morning lesson, I don't know, for 10, 15 years, I have 3 friends that I'm responsible for in the morning, and they're responsible for me, and it never happened that no one comes to that we don't come to the lesson. It's simple.
Well, so every morning a new 10? Oui. Is it possible? Well, so let's make that revolution. Every morning they come here, in the morning they look at the list on the wall, and each one suddenly sits with someone he never knew, barely saw him. Please, I'm prepared for that also. I agree with that. You can send them the new order of things to their cell phones every day. Perhaps you can create some computer program to do this. There is one. The computer does it?
Yeah, Coleman created a smart table. It does 80-85% of the work. Then you have to have not like the final touches, but it does most of the work.
And every day it can give us a new 10?
Yeah.
Where's Coleman?
If Coleman is not here, he's in the archive.
He made an Excel sheet and didn't show up. All right. Well. Any other questions? Yes.
First of all, I really want to thank you for this breakthrough that evoked in me a lot of resistance, anger, shattering, and just threw me in every direction, and thank you so much for it.
I understand.
I don't even know how to explain what happened here. But what's clear to me is that we're beginning to work.
Good, great. I'm happy to hear this from you specifically. Yes, sir.
First of all, I apologize for my Hebrew first, so I'll be speaking Russian. I'm really excited because I want to speak against it. I'll give an example of kindergarten, school, university. There's another example. In this matter, we're going against nature. We always bring example from our bodies. The human organism, where every organ plays its part in the 10, and the whole body is the 10 that we have to come to at the Tish. Did anyone ever see cells, liver cells, doing the role of the heart cells? I've never seen that. Each organ has its role. Everyone works for the same goal. And concerning each organ, seemingly searches for a warm place for itself. I don't understand why we have to do these surgical activities if we can do it within the 10 and force them to work.
Yes. I can only add that no actions within the society, if they become a habit for a person, they cannot move him to be part of the act of connection more than he's used to. It's against our ego and we can't work with it. I don't see any other solution. We'll just fall asleep in the 10s out of habit, and that's how it'll remain. That's how it seems to me. It may be that this action we're taking now is a bit premature. That's I cannot say. It seems to me it isn't. But again, it's according to my sensation, nothing more. There are people who don't feel good about it. It doesn't suit them for various reasons. But the solution is simple. We need to rise to the quality of bestowal, and then it's not important to me where I am amongst our friends. I can be in any 10, any group, any place in the world. I go to Peru, Ecuador, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Mexico. I come to North America, Canada. I go to Europe or Russia. Let's hope that very soon we'll hold such congresses and meetings in Asia and Africa. I don't feel such great differences. I don't feel them. We need to expand our vessels to break out of the 10. The 10 is not 10 friends. It is a larger concept, a higher concept. It is to force us to rise a little bit above our ego. Through lack of choice, I'll have to try to find the yesod of binah, of bestowal, faith above reason, to just hang in the air, be suspended in the air, dependent on the Creator. which I don't have this in the 10 that I've become accustomed to. I feel like I'm in the nest there, and it's good, it's nice, we're used to it. Sure, it provides stability, undoubtedly, but there's nothing for it. We need to, each time a person needs to come out of his place. We need a few verses about that also. How to leave one's place. All right? There are many people who want to say something, but something special it has to be, not just someone's opinion. Yes. What I want to say is, the advantages that you describe are very nice, very good to do, but my question is about the damage, because it's something imaginary. I only imagine it. So how to make it actual work, where I'm not just fantasizing. There are people who say, I'm connecting the points in the heart. Then he feels he's doing work. Maybe he really feels it. I mean, how do we avoid just losing ourselves in fantasy?
I don't know. I don't. Again, I'm telling you in advance, I do not know. Even if I do know, I don't know. That's it. And you will look and go, and you'll have to go with faith above reason. You'll need the Creator to help you. And so you grab onto this principle of upper force as much as you can. What are you looking for? Where are my diapers? Where's my bottle? Where's my pacifier? There is none. None. There is just none. What is there? One force. If you're dependent on it, you'll be happy. If not, you'll be lost. Period. This is why Baal Shalom says that many fall and will fall along the way. And we cannot help them other than to give them a place in the new society where the power of Bina is what holds us. That's it. I understand that there's this natural tendency of a person to want something safe and good, walls, like a trail, everything is clear. There is none. The Creator is the answer to all those feelings. Okay, so, well, Bill, what do you want?
I guess I'm a little confused. It seems to me like all these complaints that I'm hearing, it's all part of the work anyway. Baal Salam and Rabash tell us that in one ear we're going to have the will to receive constantly giving us jabber about we don't this and we're afraid of that and so on. And part of our job is to rise above all this. So it seems to me like we're just making excuses for why we don't want to do the work. And that part is kind of disgusting. Why the hell are we here if we're not willing to do any work? We're given a beautiful opportunity. Look, for the first time we have an English 10, and if it goes away tomorrow, so be it. This is our work. So my question is, what the hell is the problem here? Why is everybody cowering down?
No, well, first of all, we're not going to touch the English-speaking 10. We're not going to touch it. Tomorrow, Owen will come with more friends from China, and we'll have a Chinese-speaking 10. I wish. And then we won't touch them either, because you have to. Language is a problem. It's from the breaking. It's from Babylon. And we have yet to correct it. Soon, we'll be speaking on a different level, connect on a different level, and we will be able to speak without the language of the lower ones. So you're right. I was not referring to this. Also, in the workshops at congresses, I always say that you have to that you have to be together. Language is a problem. It is a problem. It takes a long time. Translations, if you do have translations in every 10, it's still a problem. People have to understand one another. For the time being, we agree for this with this breaking that we have in us. What? And if not language?
In American sports, we have this terminology. It's called next man up. Next man up means that if he gets hurt, I have to step up and perform his duties. Seems to me this is kind of our work as well. And the talk of the different tens has people more afraid than willing to step up and do the job. So how do we get...
It's very good. It's very good. You understand, Bill, what I want? I want them to be afraid. I want them to feel insecure. I want them to have this instability so they don't feel, this is my chair, it fits my ass exactly, I'm so used to it. And these faces I see in front of me, it's like walking into my own room, my own bedroom, and my own bed. Everything is fine. I see that sometimes people sit like that, leaning on each other like his pillow, and another one is rubbing the other one's back, and other such things. People get along beautifully, I see. I want to break this corporeal confidence, security that people have, so they need the Creator. It's better if we do it as practice, as an exercise, instead of it coming from above. When it comes from above, it comes as fear, as a very powerful internal crisis. What for? Let's be ready for it. Yes.
Almost a year I've been in irregular ten, so it's a wonderful experience. I highly recommend.
Not a permanent tent?
Yes. I was special here. I got a special role. But I want to talk about something else. You pointed out the connection between the tens. You were talking about that, and now we're talking about shuffling the tens. So what's the connection?
There is no connection. I said, let's all change the tens. Now, besides changing the tens, like we have the Tish, or the preparation for the Congress, or in general, what's ahead of us? Let's try to feel at the end of the act, as in the preliminary thought, which I talked about in the beginning of the lesson. We have to feel that all of us are in one ten. And all of it is my ten. And in this, we have to give everyone a general feeling that everyone is in the same tent, eating from the same dish, so to speak.
That's an interesting degree. Can you elaborate about how its formation? I can compose a 10 out of the entire group, but as you say, a person cannot grasp or handle more than 10. So how does a 10 integrate with other 10s?
I can't see more than 10 in front of me. That's obvious. With my corporeal feeling, physical feeling, in order to receive, I don't see it. Here I will have to rise to the next degree. For sure. The degree of Bina. We will try to do it. Whatever efforts we do will contribute a great deal. It's not like I have to see them individually, separately, like in our world. No. But in an integral way. I see this cloud, this spiritual kli, the vessel, in this way.
As a metaphor, we say to gather the points in the heart. So let's say I've gathered 10 points in the heart.
Right.
And now there are 1,000 more.
Yeah.
So in what kind of formation do I gather these 1,000 into those 10?
In the structure of Bina, and not in the structure of Malchut. What is it? Let's say I don't know. I want to rise to such a level where everyone unites, and it's clear to me, clear, with my vessels of bestowal, with my new vision, that they are all together, and I'm with them, and there is no limitation, and it's all 110. It's just that the scale has changed. How? By gathering love into by adding love into the previous will to receive. It's called love will cover all crimes, and then I grasp them all as 110.
So it's the same structure, in effect.
It's not the same corporeal structure.
Not corporeal.
But in my feeling, it is.
Okay.
Let's try it out. Just doing our little efforts for it will make us need the Creator, need some sort of grip on the power of bestowal that is outside of us, that we're lost. How does he put it? And there's no remedy. That's the thing. You feel like, that's it. I'm like a baby, lost. No mama, no daddy. Where am I? I'm lost in the middle of the street, and I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. I prefer to end life than to face this threat of being alone. This is what we need to do. Gradually. If we can control it, we'll practice it. Go backward and forward, maybe yes, maybe not. But every such thing makes this transition to the degree of Bina softer. Yes.
Out of this entire discussion, I just want to understand, what is the meaning of 10 bodies? Meaning we've divided into 10s, 10 people who are registered as one group. So what is the point of this if a 10 is not a physical thing, but rather just a matter of attitude? I come here, I see the society, I have more abstract thoughts about the adhesion with the Creator, the desire for everyone to connect, the success of Bnei Baruch altogether, not the 10 people registered with me as a 10. And what's the point of it to begin with? The only advantage I see is where we have a workshop. And then, why 10? We can split into 6 or 8. This format of the workshop, well, we can divide into units, into groups, just for that. But I don't see the point of dividing the 300, 400 students into groups of 10. Well, what does it give?
According to root and branch, if we're still in corporeality, then 10, we're told that it's not the ideal number, but it's a number that is not more and not less. It matches the upper structure. That's it. Only as something that matches the upper structure.
So in our practical work here now, where I'm in a spiritual, in a corporeal 10, what does it mean that I'm in a 10 here? What should I do in the 10 here? Because I don't have this awareness of being in with 10 bodies, but in 110.
You are in 110, so you're describing not people, but that there is one desire here to attain the Creator, and in this desire we all unite, and we have to unite and work on uniting our desires into one until we feel the upper force in it. That's the whole of the wisdom of Kabbalah.
So, but any other division, it seems, draws us towards separation. Many things to corporeality. Many people think only about the people on the table with them, or on the table, or.
But when you fall from the spiritual goal, when you have to imagine that there's only one force and one desire, and the one force that fills it is the Creator, so you fall into 10, and these 10 gradually help you, and you rise again into one desire and the Creator that's within it.
That I can follow. Thanks.
Rostov.
Скажите, нельзя ли выстроить систему десяток таким образом,
It's
чтобы
possible to construct a system of tens in such a way where a 10 selects a representative with a clear point in the heart, and 10 such representatives will build a new, higher quality 10.
No, we must not do it. This is not a parliament or a party where you elect people. We are all equal. Everyone must correct his own way and his own point in the heart, and only in this way do we come to be as one man with one heart and truly come to the state of one man. No, this is totally forbidden. These approaches, these earthly, worldly approaches don't help us. On the contrary, we must not do it. This is why we don't really understand what to do. But again, I'm saying we have to try. Each one will come with his doubts. Each one will connect with the other. We'll tell them what is happening. We'll talk about it together, about all those things. By this, we'll advance quickly. Anyone who experiences something can enrich the society through what he went through, and then we all become included with him, and then we don't have to go through it, and then we'll help each other this way. But we don't have a choice. My problem is simple. How do I give each of you insecurity? Very simple. So that each one who is sitting on his chair, I have to kick that chair, so that everyone will feel like it's falling. And then what do you hold on to? Just so. It's better if we do it and see, this is better, this we can do, this we can't. How do we hold it? How do we, precisely by holding on to each other, we're also holding on to Bina, faith above reason. All of a sudden I see how it happens, that I'm holding on to the friend above my intellect. So we need it. Otherwise, suffering will promote us instead of hastening it. Now, of course, here we'll be discussing all of those steps, and we'll write them down, and we'll decide, and check, and make mistakes, and continue, and that's how we go. And don't expect it to be a stable state, solid, we're in it, thank God, we feel more secure each time. No. The confidence, the security has to be above, in Bina. Complete insecurity in the will to receive, and because we don't have a choice, then we go above reason. That's it. Moscow.
Kabbalists write that every day I need to see as a new one. We have groups of under 10 people, and as of now, we've managed to create new 10s. So how to see a new day every day, a new 10 every day?
We'll try to merge together. Doesn't matter. There are groups where you have 2 or 3 men. You have people who are alone, individuals. There are groups with 7, 8, or maybe 10, but they can't switch. They can only change their chairs. So, of course there's no solution. The solution is to nonetheless be connected to others and actively connected. This is what I see. And the rest will leave in the hands of the Creator. He will treat us, He will confuse us, He will play tricks on us. And with faith above reason, we will try to hold on together. Moscow.
But
still, does the set 10 have to sit together in the lesson? Or as you recommend, in the future it doesn't matter, and so we need to mingle every morning.
My dream is that in the future, everyone will come and sit, and there will not be any fixed seats. Anyone who comes just merges with all the people who are present. If there's a vacant seat, he just asks, he just comes in. He doesn't ask them, they don't ask him, he just comes in, and that's it. Let's work on the intention to bestow, and we rise through Bina to the Creator. That's it.
No.
Well,
אין משהו יותר טוב לבלבל. There's nothing better to confuse me than not understanding a word someone's saying. From this, my prayer goes very quickly.
No. You have to understand. We're not talking about this. We still cannot relinquish language.
I didn't mean to go against you. I to speak against you. That wasn't my intention. But even just for a short segment, a desire to connect just rockets out of me when I'm just totally confused and I can't follow the friends. It's really a gift I don't
understand. Eli, what is he saying?
I don't get him either. I'm lucky because I don't understand anything, even if someone speaks English. But from this confusion, prayer comes very powerfully.
Very good. This is better than anything. If you don't take it through your brain, because you don't have a brain, you don't understand what they're saying. So just out of the feeling, if you have an outcry, that's the best. The best.
And especially when I don't understand Hebrew and we're sitting maybe with Russians and I feel it within me like I'm against everything. And
beautiful.
Yes. So why are we afraid of
mixed? I don't know. You see, we're afraid because our ego, our insecurity is telling us, I want to sit with people I know, with people I agree to sit with people I'm used to, with those who speak the same language that I feel good with. I understand them as soon as they begin the sentence. No, I don't understand. I'm not used to, and nothing. I just have to hold on above it. Grip above it. It's very difficult, but that's how you create a spiritual kli. Okay, Moscow again. Moscow?
Раф, вот вы порекомендовали, что в будущем мы должны приходить и как вода заполнять все пространство.
For us to, in the future, just come into the study hall and fill the place like water. Sit wherever. But after time passes, I see that I grow accustomed to sitting in the same place, and in a short while, it'll be that I'm sitting with the same friends every lesson, because every individual comes at a certain time. So how will it be different than my set 10?
I don't know. You guys are too smart. I'm just asking you one thing. How do we force ourselves before we are beaten up that elevate us through insecurity, through having no choice, just grip into Bina with our eyes shut? So how do we do these exercises on ourselves and come to it by hastening it? You tell me. I agree to anything. But you need to understand that what you're all saying for the time being, I see it, the tiny ego of kids who want to remain in their little yard with their little mommy, with the ball, and then their games. And I understand these tendencies, but how do we nonetheless elevate ourselves a little higher? We have no choice. And most importantly, I'm saying insecurity, then we'll need the Creator. A feeling like you're lost. Absence of the Creator. Friends, I don't get along with them. The teacher, I don't get along with him. Nothing. But I'm staying because I have no choice. And then I need the Creator. Owen.
Ralph, we're talking about these two tens or tens mixed together. I remember in the lesson before you said like why it's not like two drops of waters? Why is our working the ten we become like a water, like a bina? Why two tens? Why two tens is like two balls? They cannot merge together.
They can't connect the friends in two tens, so they'll have a 10 of 20 people. Doesn't matter. A 10 of 70, 80, 100 people, 200, a million. It's still a 10. The question is, on what background are they connecting? Do they need to relinquish themselves in order to connect? And not relinquish themselves like in a political party or in another type of group where everyone still makes concessions, but they gain something together. Here, the gaining has to be in my not wanting and being unable to, and not finding myself and being confused. I have to love these situations that are above my ego, above my circle.
But if, I'm kind of confused, Like when we have Congress, like the Israel Congress, no matter how many people who study Kabbalah to our Congress, we feel, everybody can be merged like one. There's nothing in the world can happen like that. So what that state is spiritual state, or still we need to do something really qualitatively different from that state we can achieve with.
We want to achieve something qualitative. Yes. I want to achieve something simple. That without the power of Bina, we cannot unite. Not on the background of Malchut. That makes it worthwhile to connect because there's some evident profit. But it's worthwhile for us to connect because by this everyone leaves himself and grabs the others in the air. And then we need the power of Bina. Otherwise we're lost. And it's not like we care about being lost, but we want to attain connection between us, which is above, higher, preferable to being lost. I prefer to die than to live. We need to come to this. It's already an act that if we succeed, fine, and if not, we'll continue with more preparations. But I think we can already try to do this, to feel that we have to have the power of bestowal here, that is completely above the intellect. It's detached. Where does it come from? From above. It's a different nature. Let's try to welcome it, to accept it, this other nature. We cannot draw in the power of bestowal, the power of the Creator, the power of Bina, but only through these actions, where we bring ourselves to a state where we need Him. We have no choice. We're crying out, we're yelling, we're screaming. He has to help. But we're not returning to the state of corporeal security. We have to be confident that we have the power of Bina, mutual bestowal. This is what gives us the anchor. I understand the doubts, the problems. People are not used to it. Everyone feels inside that he doesn't understand or he feels uncomfortable. But if we're talking about the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's ahead of us. So have a little more faith in the teacher and in the Creator and in the friends in the group. And we'll succeed. Yes.
Raf, we are talking about, is it for all the tens in the whole world Kli? Especially...
Yeah, to all the tens in the world Kli.
I don't
know, let's try. Let's take a step forward, talk about it for a few days now, maybe today in the afternoon, the 1:30 p.m. lesson, also during the Tish. Maybe you can have a practical exercise there. I don't know how to do it. I don't want you to wait for something that I'm scheming here. Also angry. That you should understand by yourselves what's ahead of us and what we should do. We need to discover a deficiency for faith above reason, deficiency for the force of Bina, a deficiency for godliness that clothes in us against all our intellect and calculations and is keeping us in it.
Because the friends in Germany, there's 110, they say it's not, they don't have the same situation as here.
I recommend the whole world, except for this group, to watch us, to follow what we're doing, not do any actions in corporeal changes. Rather, let's just learn together what are we talking about. Until this settles in us, until we want it. Want it not in our will to receive, rather that this thing will become necessary for us to go through. Slowly. We'll take it step by step. One of the two.
Good morning, Rav. I have a question, special question. I don't know how to ask it. Well, practically, in order to move to Bina and break the Machsom, we have to reach such an unpleasant state, like an ordinary person feels that he's about to commit suicide because he doesn't feel himself anymore, doesn't feel the earth beneath his feet, he doesn't feel anything. So you mean that we have to reach such a state and bring ourselves to the society and say, well, here I am.
Let's say.
It's a very unpleasant state.
Pleasant. For pleasant, you should go to see a cabaret, go to the circus, the theater. What do you mean unpleasant? Unpleasant to the will to receive. But it obligates the will to receive to want to receive the force of Binah reluctantly in order to rise to the degree of bestowal. Otherwise, it won't allow you. This is the meaning of being under the blows of Egypt.
Why are the creators doing this to us?
Why didn't you ask before? What are we saying about the will to receive? He needs to suffer for 400 years. The exile in Egypt, blows, problems. Your Pharaoh is your ego, until he will say to the point in the heart, get out.
I know those states, they're very unpleasant, really.
Oh, well, you don't know them yet. Maybe a little bit. The question is if we're talking about this. Guys, I don't want to go into all those confusions. We're going to test. Yeah? In order to not get confused with Italian Congress. And that's it. So, think. What are we doing during the afternoon lesson? 1:30 p.m. Everybody's invited. Yes, Roy.
I just wanted to ask, well, if you have a plan a week ahead that every day we'll have a different 10, we can start doing it tomorrow.
I would do it, but again, it's on the condition that people are responsible and they understand what they're going after. I don't know. All I know is the previous state. You mean changing the tens as they were 3 years ago, for the last 3 years?
No, what I mean is that every friend will get a plan that he sees a week ahead. What is his 10 every lesson?
Every day?
Yeah, every day.
I would do it. It would expand his vessel. Feel himself less secure. Needs to get along with everyone. That builds us. Spiritually speaking, there's no doubt it's better.
The reason I'm asking is, if it's not a step that we take now that we have doubts, so it will become a state where you already agree to go for it, and then you don't do it because you're not sure. Or
who's for a new 10 every day? I don't see anyone against, except for Tzvika. But it's also not in the 10, so... Every day is in a new 10. Is an example. Who's against it and why? Who's against it? These guys I figured. What about you? Why? Quickly. No, the other one. Look for a mic.
we need to have some framework that obligates you.
If the framework doesn't obligate you, you're lost. But you'll know in advance who will be in the framework. So from the evening, you'll have to get in touch and obligate that you're coming. So it's good.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, it worked out.
In the morning lesson, it is required to exchange the tens, but during the day, we need the framework through which we can connect and do the work.
Why do you need those habits?
These are not habits. I think we do substantial actions of connection during the day. We need it.
Did it influence greatly the connection during the day? Niv, yes. What does it mean significantly? That I know the friends. We have a...
I'll give you an example. We have a daily talk where we connect and draw the light that reforms during those talks, which are very powerful. It's an example for a significant act of connection. which
technically,
yeah,
the constant framework. Okay, you'll connect me to it, can you? Good. I want to hear. I want to see what's important here. What's up with the mics?
As Eyal said, the problem is principally technical one. Also, when you said that they will talk in the evening, technically we can't do it. People don't have time. They can hardly talk to people. We need to create a platform, group platforms. Instead of every 10 have a conference room, there should be a conference room.
Like on the radio.
Yeah, whoever wants to can get in there and talk, and we can have more ideas which will apply to the whole group.
What time do you want it to happen in the evening? What's most comfortable? Midnight, 11 p.m., 10, 9.
It shouldn't be just in the evening. We have such meetings also in the middle of the day, 11, 12, 5, and whoever wants to can go in, talk to the friends. He doesn't know who he's talking to, get strength, go on, and...
But that doesn't obligate. It's a problem. It does not obligate. It will not happen. What?
I'm saying that the idea is important and correct, but we should take into consideration in order to prevent all those dairy shutterings so that it will be once in 3 months. We were very all excited from this innovation when we fit into it and gotten used to it. But if we will do this change once in 3 months, it won't let us sink into the 10, and it will allow us to maintain this pattern that will keep repeating itself.
I hear it. Rational. Makes sense. Enough. We're done.
Operatively, in order to organize the week or anything else, we need to get organized. And we don't want to miss this opportunity. Okay, so we don't know what to do. It's not clear. This is how it was in previous times. We were in the process of talking to exchange, not to exchange. Okay, so we want. And this is how we were for a year. If you want to advance us towards a new degree, why not just try it for a few weeks and then we'll talk about it again?
I see that there are many people that are willing to give up their spiritual development. They'll look for it in other methods, psychological methods, etc., because they're not ripe, not ready. It's possible. We need to think about them as well. You can't go only according to the pioneer part. You can't. We need to make sure that in general the society will understand what's happening and will feel what do we need. We need a prayer, a cry, and the children of Israel sighed from the work, and then we receive help from above. And not that we're sitting down on a warm, comfortable chair and everything is comfortable and certain. Rather, the state has to be opposite, and that we generate it. And this is something else than something we receive as, this is the difference between path of Torah and path of suffering. In the path of Torah, we generate the deficiency, and it's uncomfortable, unpleasant, but it comes from us, and it's uncomfortable. We think that Achishena is nice, you go, right? We can say this to people on the outside, but Achishena is not that at all. And the children of Israel side from the work is through Achishena. So we will talk about it more.
From this whole conversation that we had in the last hour, I feel that the present state doesn't put me in the place you describe, uncertainty, being in a prayer and all those things. And the state that you describe obviously will put me there very quickly. So I don't understand. How can there be an approach which enables not to go for it?
Okay, but you get accustomed to it, you talk about it a little bit more, although it does not prevent the blows when you enter such states, but they're a bit more directed.
But when you talk about something a little bit more and a little bit more, and you start living it, it doesn't become something of uncertainty. It becomes very rational, something within reason, something you agree to. It already lives inside Malchut, if you can say so. So all these advantages of uncertainty rising to a prayer, the need for Bina, it won't be there anymore. So why do we need it for?
It will come. The difference between the approaches is nothing more opposite. When it comes, you will feel it. Where does he write it? You can't escape this threat. Letter 1. You can't. As much as you calm yourself down, everything will be fine. When it comes, you enter such anxiety, such insecurity, such threat. I'm better off dead. Because it comes at the expense of the will to receive, that you need to disconnect from a little bit.
Now, if we say that we're in a route that develops towards the last generation, and we hear from our teacher, we hear from you that you say that you also don't know.
No, I don't know technical things. Of course, I don't know how it's more correct to manage the society, and 90% when I don't know, I want to leave it to you. That's why I say I don't know. But still, none as wise as the experienced. So let it be. What can you do? Did I do it elsewhere in another group? On Mars or on the moon? No, nowhere. And that's why there's no experience. And it's good. It can't be any other way.
So if you yourself say that you have no experience, how can we have an experience if you don't have it?
You also don't have experience.
So it's even worse. How can we decide on something we don't know and you yourself say you don't know?
Of course, you have no security, and that's what's desirable. You need to be insecure.
So how do you walk on a path where you don't know how to walk?
This is faith above reason. Understand this point. That when you're losing completely your foundation and you hang in midair, then you require the force of faith and it comes to you. At least intellectually understand that one comes out of the other.
I still don't understand. You talked about faith in the Creator and faith in the teacher. And for an hour, more than an hour, you explained what we have to do. And if we don't do it, we don't advance at all. And now we're not going to do it?
I don't know. What is your question? Will we do it or not?
How can we not do it?
I don't know. However you decide. However you decide. I don't want to decide for you and drop it on you as an order. Like in the army, right? It's an order. No.
בסדר?
Okay. I'm leaving these things open. Shamir.
Rav, I don't really have a question, but I just want to add that really this fire of faith above reason, of really standing on the air, is something which we need to do it right now. What are we waiting for the Congress? What are we waiting for the Tish? It's about now. Right now, that fire of faith above reason, right now, that fire of connection, it's a light. It's a light. We need to be the light for the 10. At least to do this action for the 10. Not for myself, but at least to do this for the friends. So we need to do this together. So lechem for that.
At least I have one. Thank you.
אנחנו נמשיך חבר'ה, בעד נגד זה לא חשוב.
Guys, for or against is not important. You have something, principle you want to add?
So, the beast works in Achishena, and to have frameworks which are not so convenient to the ego and overcome them.
No, it's not just about that it's uncomfortable for the ego and we should overcome. When you place various obstacles before yourself and you overcome them, it's not the ego. You're like an athlete that goes from one degree to another with an ever-growing ego.
And that's bad?
I don't know if it's good or not. It depends on your goal. I don't know what it is. If my goal is to reach identification with the Creator, then I have to keep getting His nature each time, to need Him to give me His nature. And so it can be that I overcome and succeed. Rather, I have to be in a state that, with certainty, I have no doubt, or rather I have all the doubt that I can succeed in anything. And then after all those doubts that I feel, I see that I have no one to turn to except for Him. And He's the last address, the last resort. And the only one, actually. And that's the success. And the children of Israel sighed from the work, and their groan went up to the Creator.
So now I'm completely confused about the tens. We maintain frameworks in the lesson, support. So why do I need the 10 for now?
I don't know. Think about it. I'm not going to tell each and every one here all about it. Let's go. We're done. We're going to Tess. It will calm us down. Blur the whole thing, and then you'll come to it on your own.
Moving on to the next part of the lesson.
We are
reading from the study of the 10 Sefirot, part 6, on page 400 in Hebrew. Item 8, the words of the Ari. You can get into our site, kab.tv. Send us your questions. Selected questions will be heard in the course of the lesson. Again, Talmud Eser Sfirot, page 400 in Hebrew, item 8, the words of the Ari. The learned one shall understand and will conclude one thing from another. How in all the Olamot, the Ne'etzalim, that shine in the Olam below them, are always Bechinat Lor Hav, the Tiferet, and Nehi. It is so because we found how half of Tiferet and Nehi the Zer Anpin shine in its Nukva. Nehi the Arich Anpin and Abba Ve'ima shine for Zer Anpin. And Nehi the Atik Yomin to Arich Anpin. Also, this Tiferet and that Nehi the Ak shine to Atik Yomin and to the entire Olam Atzilut, as will be explained. Furthermore, you shall see that the tzimtzum, the restriction, is necessary for every elicitation of orot to emanate them. It shall be clarified how Arich Anpin 2 restricted its orot nehi to emanate the Anpin and its nukva later in its place.
Okay, we're not studying it now. What he wants to say is that the lower one always clothes the half of the body, or the goof of the upper one, and the tiferet of the upper one is the keter of the lower one. That's where he suckles from. And that will all take place in the world of Atzilut, but he's just mentioning it. Item 9.
Thus, after he restricted himself, he placed one parsa in the middle of its goof, inside its place of taboo, to separate between the two. This is the meaning of the verse, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." It is also mentioned in Zohar, Bereshit, there is one membrance in the middle of one's intestines. It stops from above downward, draws from above, and gives below. Then the entire ore remains above this parsa, and it is there squeezed tightly. Then it breaches this parsa and comes down to shine in the rest of the goof from taboo down.
Again,
item 9. Thus, after he restricted himself, he placed one parsa in the middle of its goof, inside its place of taboo, to separate between the two.
meaning we have don't know what's going on here. Okay, so what are we talking about? Quickly. World of Adam Kadmon, Ab, Sag, Nekudot of Sag. They go down, they mix with Nehi of Ak, receive Bchinat Dalet, and consequently restrict themselves up to the Chazeh, Tiferet of Nekudot of Sag. Then this new boundary is called Parsa. Yes? And this is the meaning? Meaning what's above Parsa and what's below Parsa. It is also mentioned in the Zohar, there is one membrane in the middle of one's intestines. It stops from above downward, draws from above, and gives below. Meaning, Parsa has many roles. It stops the Partzuf in the middle. It lets the Reshimo, the lights, the forces, the vessels pass from above down. In short, it has a very important role.
Then the entire ore remains above this parsa and is there squeezed tightly. Then it breaches this parsa and comes down to shine in the rest of the guf from tabu down.
Meaning, there is such a thing. He's talking about the shattering of the vessels in the world of Nikudim, that all of the light, because of the second restriction, Tzimtzum Bet, departed from here, below, from in the Tanhim of Nukudot of Sag. The light departed upwards. It's squeezed there. It's very narrow. And then, through a special action, there was a raising of Man to Sag. And then all of this light came down all the way down to Siyum, below the Parsa, shattered the Parsa, and then we had the shattering of the vessels. That's what he's saying. Down below, Opnimi.
Inner line, Opnimi Arim 9. He placed one parsa in the middle of its guf, etc., draws from above and gives below. Parsa means the ending of the masach of the partzuf, like the toes of the raglaim, legs, which are the siyum of the partzuf. The difference is in the values of the pnimiyut and the chitzoniyut, internality and externality. The parsa is the bechinat siyum for the chitzoniyut.